guys, Damian Erskine here. Thanks to Bass Players United for asking me to do this video. I'm going to talk about harmonics a little bit. There's two types of harmonics, natural and artificial. Really quickly, natural harmonics are just that. They happen naturally. You get a harmonic, and I'll just kind of breeze through this because it's been covered before. But you get a harmonic by lightly touching the string, not pushing all the way down, just touching the string in certain spots and then plucking. And what's happening is you're making a point at which the string stops vibrating and it causes other overtones to ring out. You can't get harmonics everywhere, but there are certain spots. There's technical, more mathematical reasons for why certain harmonics happen where, and you're cutting the string, making it this much shorter, and this is why you get this note. But I generally just find the best way to discover harmonics is to explore the instrument and see where you can get them. Some instruments, depending on how they're set up, can get certain harmonics that others may not be able to. The easiest one to get is at the 12th fret. If you just lightly touch the string, and that one happens to be the same note. It's the octave. You're basically just getting an octave higher. It's a little out of tune. My intonation might be a little off there. There are a number of others you can get. Most of you probably know how to tune with harmonics. Play a G string on the 7th fret, D string on the 5th fret. Should be the same note. A lot of people, and there are charts if you Google it, that will show you where all the harmonics lay and what notes they actually are. I never really learned what notes they are. I just explored them and kind of figured out what sounded good, got a feel for what might sound good. Oftentimes within the span of 1 fret there may be multiple harmonics. Bridge side of the 4th fret, closer to the headstock of the 4th fret, 3rd fret. So there's 4 notes right within 2 frets. And I remember sitting there as a kid just kind of figuring out where all of my different harmonics lay. And then subsequently experimenting with hitting other notes and maybe a few harmonics, seeing what kind of interesting sounding chords I could get. An example, one tune of mine where I utilize a lot of harmonics. It just came from me experimenting. I don't actually know exactly what those chords are that I'm even playing, but I thought they sounded cool, so I turned it into a groove. It's basically just a C minor groove. Same tune on the 5th fret there, 7th fret, with the A flat in the bass. And then I just literally fished around for these chords. 4th fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, 4th fret. Which doesn't sound quite as naturally, but in context it works well enough. And that one's actually, I know that. It's just 2 Ds, an octave over a D flat. Get the right hand in there so you can see. So that's one example of ways in which I use harmonics. I actually get the most questions from people about artificial harmonics, because people may have seen me playing a group, something like that. Guitars, I first learned them, I was told they were called pinch harmonics, because guitar players tend to use their pick and kind of pinch. But what's actually happening here is you're playing a note, and you can get, just like with an open string, breaking up the vibration at different points gives you different overtones. When you fret it down, doing the same thing with your right hand has the same effect. And what I'm doing, essentially, the easiest one to hit is the octave. If you use either, like Steve Bailey uses his index finger, I use my thumb, but you're basically touching the string. Right now I'll do an octave above, so I'm fretting a C, and then I'm going to touch the string on the C above and then pluck behind. I can't do it with my index finger. So I'm breaking the vibration of the string right there and then just slightly plucking behind it. And again, experimentation. And you start to get a feel for where those spaces are. Now the thing with artificial harmonics is, as you move your fretting hand, your right hand has to move in concert with it to maintain the point at which you're breaking up the string vibration. Easiest way to practice this is play scales, for example. One octave above, and just move both hands in unison, 2 octaves above. And I like with those especially, you do a little vibrato, but one effect a lot of people may have seen me do is to roll my volume down, hit the harmonic, bend up, and then roll the volume back up. I stumbled upon using naturally occurring harmonics in the context of grooves by accident, because I always tend to delay my other fingers, fretting a G there. I always tend to delay my other fingers in front of it to help mute the other strings, kind of like a Rocco thing. That's how Rocco Prestia mutes a lot of his. That's how he gets that real thumpy sound. And in doing that, I noticed when I used the higher strings as accents, a lot of times I get these naturally occurring little tones, and I began to really dig that. One of the most common, biggest example of harmonics, most famous, is Jaco Pastorius' Portrait of Tracy. And I would encourage you, once you start to get comfortable with harmonics, to explore that tune, learn it, even find the transcription on the internet, or try and figure it out for yourself. He just really beautifully. Certain things in there that are hard to hit unless you have huge hands, which I don't. But it's really a nice exploration of what's possible on the instrument using harmonics as a texture and just a tone. So that's basically my advice, is just get comfortable making them, find out where they all are, and just explore different combinations, whether you're just doing two strings fretted a fourth apart, or making chords. often they're just, you know, continuous shapes shifted by, you know, just a half an inch, and you get a whole new spectrum of sound. So I would explore the use of harmonics, where they all are, fretting notes, making chords, using harmonics. And if you hear something you really like, figure out what that chord is, figure out what that note is. That's usually how I do it. It's, oh, okay, that's a G. There you go. And they often won't be exactly in tune, which means, you know, use them sparingly and consider, don't overdo it. So yeah, there's basic naturally occurring harmonics, most common used. There's the 3rd fret, and typically plucking back by the bridge, so there's a little more tension on the string, and you can get a good pluck. And you can get them up beyond the fretboard. And then artificial harmonics, touching the string at a certain point with your thumb or index finger. A lot of guys can get really beautiful chords using the index finger to fret the notes. Steve Bailey's the best example of that. And then plucking behind. Steve's pretty amazing because he can actually play like he might normally with these 3 fingers while fretting artificial harmonics with his hand. He can get some pretty amazing stuff happening that way. This has always felt weird to me, so I've always used my thumb because that's how I discovered it as a kid. That's just what I'm comfortable with. You can just again practice holding one note, finding all the different spots, and if you find a sound you like, then practice moving that in concert with your right hand. So really the key is exploration and experimentation. First, just find an easy note like the 5th fret or the 7th fret. Practice getting a good sound. Figure out how hard you need to press. The hardest thing for most people is getting comfortable not pushing the string all the way down. It's just a habitual. You know, you play the note, you want to play the note, and you have to keep reminding yourself, just touch the string, don't push on the string. You can even let the string open ring. Just touch that and it rings. So there you have it, harmonics. Have fun. Have fun exploring the instrument and seeing what kind of sounds you can get out of it. One other thing, I know Joseph Patrick Moore covered this in his video too. Just like you can fret a note, touch it, and pluck, you can also just tap on the string at that spot. Another texture has a different sound because you're getting a little fret sound from your tapping on the string. Just has a different texture. That sound is very appropriate for certain things. It's very good. You can also experiment with effects and harmonics. I have a Micropod 2 which does octaves up in the sound, and I've noticed harmonics just sound amazing through that thing when you get it. You know, it's just a kind of a crazy sound. Or a lot of guys use chorus pedals. especially when doing the Jocko thing. A lot of guys like to throw a little bit of chorus on there because it really gives it that texture that he had. So I just experiment and explore, both artificial. Because the thing is, naturally occurring harmonics only happen in certain places, and there's only certain notes you can get. Artificial harmonics you can do anywhere. You can play anywhere. So if you're not in G, C, or A, or a key that fits well with these harmonics, you can still make use of them artificially. Making something up there. So there you go. Again, have fun, enjoy. Thanks for checking this out.